Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and it's Free Pattern Friday. Yay! Free Pattern Friday. I love Free Pattern Fridays. I've been retired now more than 10 years and I just enjoy Fridays so much. But anyways, so today we have a fun block to you and it was been a viewer requested one. It's called Braid. How do I make a braid block? And we're going to give you my twist on a braid block and see if you guys enjoy this or not. And it's going to be some fun. But first, let's do our shout out before I get into this. Lynn at Lynn Lockard Quilting is her YouTube channel is going to be in the show notes below. Go check her out and tell her that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. I've been watching her channel a little bit and I was like, yeah, she probably needs some words of encouragement and keep going. So yeah, when you do that, like I say, you got to get a hold of those show notes because they also have all the cutting instructions and all this, right? Now, you're also going to find there the collaboration I'm working on with Kelly from Kelly's Quilts and Cruises, Future Cat from New Zealand, and Michelle from Bits and Pieces. Those are such talented, creative people that I am just blessed to be able to be working with them. You're also going to find our Facebook group in there, and it's a very warm, welcoming community, and it's growing very quickly, and we have all sorts of different community chats. We do fabric swaps, we do recipe exchanges, we do all sorts of, a virtual sewing room in Discord, right, just for the members of the Facebook group, and it's been lots of fun in there. There's all sorts of questions and polls and all the, showing all the beautiful pictures of people finishing their scrappy quilts. It's so much fun. Now, we also have the Zoom meetings in there from now until the end of December. We're making that a commitment to you. I have enjoyed those very much, and I get a lot done those days. So this has been a lot of fun for me as well. Now, I do speak for quilting groups or quilting guilds, and I speak about making scrap quilts and charity quilts, and I do these meetings over Zoom. So if your guild is looking for a speaker that speaks for free and wants to talk about those topics, give them my name. It's not a problem. So, no further ado, let's get to the sewing on Braid. I had fun picking out my Japanese or Oriental prints for this one too. So come on in, let's get this sewn up. Okay, we're at the sewing machine. And I picked a bunch of different Oriental prints that I got, and I thought, okay, we can have fun with this. Now, there's a lot of different colors. There's some, ones that are a little more low volume than the next, but I'm hoping we have some fun with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a braid block that's 10.5 inches and then put a frame around it. Now, it's very simple. What you do is you go from one side to the next. Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to just go like this. You're going to start by crossing them over. Oh, this machine really needs to be cleaned out, I guess. It's time, the walrus said. And here we go. So what you're going to do first is you're going to kind of make a triangle where everything sits on that triangle first, right? Okay. So now you're going to press this out, just like that. Okay, so that's what you're going to end up with. That doesn't look like much, does it, right? So what you're going to do now is you're going to sew this one along the entire length. Right? So, all right. I started this on the, I started it on the right side. Now, some people start their braids with a piece of triangle, scrap triangle. And that's okay too. I just went looking through here and I couldn't find anything that I hadn't used. So I'm like, or that was going to be used. So I figured, okay, we will just do it this way and be done. But that's okay. Now, the pieces I have here are 8.5 by 2.5. You could make, oh, I just broke my thread again. Why am I breaking thread, top threads? Anyways, I'll just quick put this in. Okay, what happens is that you use 8.5 by 2.5 inch squares. There we go. I don't know why it broke, but it's now working again. Okay, so, and most people when they're doing braids, they've got like a they get themselves a little nest where one side is all about, you know, cutting and trimming. The other side's about, you know, ironing and all that kind of stuff. So the next one you're going to put on like this, and you're just going to keep building. And one side is always easier to sew than the other side. Ugh, just because that's the nature of the beast. Now I don't sew down the entire length. I only sew down until I run out of the top fabric. So then there. Okay. I pull this out, run a little, I plug through so I can get it off, and I just finger press this over. Like, some of the stuff is so wild and bright, but it's fun. You know, like this is kind of, oh, I should put the red up there. Okay, that'd be closer. There, you get some bright colors going on. You know, it's all good. It's all good. There we go. It's sometimes these are they're just a lot of fun. Now I save, because you're trimming this and then all of the edges are biased, I save the edges I'm trimming off for string quilts. They automatically go into my string bin right after this because they're perfect for corners on string quilts, right? So that it doesn't waste. I have very low waste, or I'm trying to be no waste as possible, because I think a lot of the stuff ends up in landfills. I'm going to pick a brighter color for this side. Ooh, yes, that works. The pink works. The pink works. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I just pulled these out of my log cabin blocks. So it was just, I had all sorts of different colors in here, and because I always keep log cabin size stuff at the 2.5. That means I always have 2.5 by 2.5, 2.5 by 4.5, that kind of thing. Ooh, let's put this one up here. Okay, get this all lined up. There we go. Okay. Now there's lots of ways you can do braids. Actually, there's some of the ones that I saw that I just loved, braided quilts, and they're all done by foundation paper piecing. And they did little tiny braids that were just perfect. They were just perfect. And of course, when you're doing foundation paper piecing, you can just do them, continue all the way up and down a strip and then have them, look perfect, right? They're, you can have minis, you have them like, 1-inch finished braid, and they always look great. Okay. I just grabbed some. I don't know if I have enough, but we'll see. We'll see. As you're doing your braid, because every color goes onto these braids, everything. You can do this like totally scrappy and have fun with it. Now, let's see, is it long enough for 10 inches? Yes, it is. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a trick so you waste the least. Is it wide enough for 10 inches though? Yes, it is. Oh, wow. Okay, we did that as well. Good enough. Okay, so where we started here, this is where we're going to open it up. And what we're going to do is a Y seam construction. So we're just going to open it up like, 1/2 inch. And you're sitting there, oh good grief, we're doing a Y seam? You could keep going and just keep sewing. That would be fine, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to roll it. Like if you had a long piece, you would roll this and put this down, right, into your work, right? But because this piece isn't long enough, we can't really do that. But if you had a long string, you know, that's saying like the width of your fabric, you could turn this and actually make this go in here, right? And make it a really, but because it's such a tight little thing, you can't do that, right? So we will fix that. So we'll just keep adding another piece or two on here to make it square, because it's okay. But if you were doing a long braid, you would do it as a Y seam just by opening up the first bit, you know, and then you would have colors coming together and whatnot. Theres some people, all they do is they make braids, and they're gorgeous. They trim them off, and there we go. Okay. Yeah, they just trim them off, and they look great. You know, they make braid quilt after braid quilt after braid quilt. I mean, and it's beautiful. But like I say, what they would do is, at the end of the day, is they would pop open that first seam and sew it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, 5. I got one extra. You only need 10 strips on here. And okay, so what I'm going to do after I get this on, okay, I'm going to trim this off camera, of course, and we're going to see how this works. Okay, I will be right back, because I'm sure it's going to be long enough and it's wide enough. Okay, I guess we're still recording, so here we go. So now I'm going to show you what I cut off. I cut this off. This is one piece, another piece, and all of this is not going to be wasted. It's going to go into a spring block. These are the side bits that I cut off. Right now, I took one of the sides because I'm a little short on a corner, and I'm just gonna sew that on and I kind of center it, right? I know you're sitting there like, oh, good grief. Yeah, sometimes, you know. And there we go. I'll just get that off, just like so. Now, I think that one was sized close enough. Oh yeah, it is close enough. Close enough. So that I could just trim on one side and trim like not even 1/8 of an inch away. Then no one is going to see that's going to go in the pet bed stuffing, by the way. That is like down here, right? Nobody's going to see that. So now we're going to put our border around it just to help stabilize the bias. Now the bias goes on the bottom. And I hope my feed dogs hold up, because wow, do they really need cleaning? And they don't. And I gotta, yeah, okay. This has been, yeah, this sewing machine, ever since it came back from the spa, it just keeps breaking its top thread. I have changed the needle. I have played with the tension. I have done the bobbin tension. I have cleaned and cleaned and cleaned the bobbin area, and for some reason, I'm not sure what its problem is, but it's still a very good machine. And I wouldn't dream about, you know, saying she's getting too old or anything like that. There it is. There we go. There we go. Now, get back to what we're sewing. Say bias on the bottom, and you're going to hold and match up, because all of this edge now is bias, right? It's all bias. So you got to kind of maneuver it a little bit. I put on my short sides first, because I'm just making a block. There we go. And there. So that gets pressed out. And when you're pressing this block, it's kind of, you know, remember to press up, down, like that, right? So now we're going to quickly do the other side. Again, bias is on the bottom. There we go. Matching up that end. There. Okay. Just like that. There. When you're measuring this, try to get this to cross right in the middle. Otherwise your block looks a little off. You can also make braid blocks with wonky strings and have the piece come out perfectly beautiful. This is just lovely, right? Okay. There we go. Line up the other end. No pulling, no. Basically guiding. And this can be a really fun technique if you're making, you know, like a border. You know, like you want a heavier pieced border. Braids are lovely, and you can make them then as long as you need them. Yeah, and they work great. Okay. Last bit. Okay. Now before we get into the last bit, remember I had popped it open to try and show you how to do that Y seam. Well, this is open. It needs to be repaired. Let's get that repaired right away. Let's get that just under the needle and repair it. Here, come on. Okay. There. Now it's all repaired, all laying nice and flat. Yes, it is. There we go. So now, yeah, because that way your seam now isn't going to come flying apart when you put it into a quilt. And the long arm is going to go, long arm that you do is like, oh, I did not make that hole. Because it went up pretty high in that. There we go. Okay, so last little bit. There we go. Now, here it is. I'm just going to press it like this. I'm going to show you the back here for a sec, just so you make sure everything gets nice and flat. Okay, so everything from the center two pieces down here, it gets pushed out so it lays nice and flat. That's the simplest way to explain it. It's going away from this seam, right? Like this one went together like this. This one gets pressed away from this seam. This one gets pressed away from this seam. This one, you know, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. So I'll give it a good press and let's get to our ta-da moment. So this is our really cool braid block, 8.5 by 2 inch strips, and we made a 10.5 inch strip, then we put a 1.5 inch border around it to frame the block. Now, these are the bigger pieces that we did cut off this braid to make a square block, but you can make this braid any length you want. It could be your border or whatever for a lovely quilt if you had lots of stuff that you wanted to use up. Now, what I cut off this block is perfect to start the next one, because remember we were talking about, like down here in this area here, people were using triangles. Well, there's your piece triangle right away. So this stuff doesn't go to waste. Even though it's odd shaped in its bias, in my world, it gets used up. So I do hope you give this one a try. These are lots of fun to work with, and you can also make them as long as the quilt and put a little sashing in between and then make another braid. It's up to you what you want to do with these quilts. So Anyways, you guys take care and have an absolute fabulous week ahead. And I hope life is treating you kindly. Okay, until we see each other again, bye! Hello again. We just want to thank you for enjoying our video and, you know, coming along with my husband and my YouTube adventure in quilting. And, you know, sometimes things don't work out as best they should, and sometimes they work out great. We're going, wow, that went well. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad I could share it with you. Share, like, and subscribe these videos. That really helps us out, and it helps us make more charity quilts, okay? So you guys take care until we have a chance to meet again, okay? Bye!